Welcome to the Queen Amani Show, all the way from the Queen City. Here she is, Queen Amani.
Welcome to the Queen Amani TV show. Thank you for tuning in today in the beautiful Queen City. You know, today is just such a beautiful, lovely day. The weather is so nice out. The sun is out. Don't you love the days when the sun is just out and it's a warm day and not too cool, where you can go out, you can take a nice walk or a nice bike ride. I absolutely love the days like this. Of course, you all know that I love the warmer days. And so a day like this, I'm just so thankful for. So today is just a beautiful day. I'm feeling great. I hope that you are having a great, blessed week. And if you tuned in to our show last week, I just want to say thank you. And I hope you really enjoyed it. One thing I want to say is that I want to make sure that you all know, my friends here, that this show is like my baby. And, you know, I am just really enjoying my baby. I love my baby so much. And, you know, it's a work in progress. You know, the show is not necessarily, you know, perfect like I would desire it to be. You know, there are things that I do work on with the show to make it better. And so I hope that you see that, you know, each show that it gets better and better. And there are things that like I said, that I consistently work on to try to make this show better. One thing I know is that I'm just really enjoying this process. I've learned a lot, and I'm so thankful and grateful for the show, and just grateful for everything that I'm learning, and grateful for the great people that I'm meeting around the Queen City. I'm grateful for my team that helps me put this show on air, because it takes a team. You know, it's not just myself. But, you know, there are behind the cameras, and I am just so thankful for, you know, every part of this show that makes it come together and make it a great show. So, you know, I just want to make that known, because one thing, I am a thankful queen, and I'm very, very just thankful and grateful, just where I am with everything in the show. And that's one thing that we talked about just last week. You know, Thanksgiving was just a couple weeks ago, and with that show, we just had a spirit of, you know, thankfulness and just thinking about everything that we were thankful for. So now, I hope you enjoyed your Thanksgiving holiday, and I hope you're excited about Christmas. Can't believe that it's right around the corner, but it is. So I hope that you are just excited to go into Christmas, and I know I am, and we're decorating the house and getting it all pretty, and so hopefully I can show you around. I would love to show my friends around, you know, my beautiful house when it's all decorated nice and pretty for Christmas, because I just love Christmas decorations, and I would love to show you that. So, you know, stay tuned to our shows to come, and hopefully you'll be able to see the Queen's Castle and the beautiful, pretty decorations for Christmas. So on my shows, you know, I like to share some things that are on my heart and things that I just really want to talk about. Some things are fun, and I hope I can make you laugh sometimes, and you know, some things are challenging to talk about, and hopefully it may make you think. I don't know, but I hope that you enjoy the show, and I hope that you just really get it, and you get the fact that I just really love to share the things that are on my heart. Some things that I've been through, some things I've overcome, some things I've had to work hard to get through. And one of the things that I've had to really kind of push through, I want to share with you all today. And you know, here at the Queen TV show, I share things that just really, that I've dealt with. You know, that's my story. That's my personal story. You know, I can't share anyone else's story, because I'm not anyone else but Queen Amani. So I just want to share some things that like I said, that I've been able to worked through, and some things I'm still kind of trying to work through. Some things I've found a spirit of forgiveness, but you know how sometimes you forgive, but you just don't forget the things you go through. So I think with this situation, it's kind of like that, where, you know, I definitely have found forgiveness for the particular organization that it was with, but there are times that I definitely think about it, because it does tend to still kind of, you know, bother me at times when I just think on the experience and what I went through and just kind of how it made me feel. So I want to share that with you today. And one thing is that, and I think I briefly shared this before, like on a Queen TV show, but I don't think I got that detailed in it. So, you know, some time ago, in a far, far away land, no, I'm just kidding. But no, some time ago in my neighborhood, I had where, you all know here at the Queen TV show, I lost my best friend to domestic violence. And I thank God now I can actually talk about it, because for a very long time, I couldn't talk about it. It was so difficult just to even talk about, bring it up to anyone, really. Just thinking on it, because it was just such a tragic situation, and my girlfriend was so young and just so beautiful, beautiful soul inside and out, and it just really was a tragic situation, and it was really just tough for me. So after I lost my girlfriend to domestic violence, I really just had a difficult time with just really coming to terms with the way that she passed away. And so I, you know, went to therapy and such, and that was one of the best things I've ever done for myself. I had a show on that before where I actually talked about therapy. You know, I used to think that for some reason therapy was for crazy people. I know that that sounds probably strange to some people, but yeah, that's what I thought. And, you know, I definitely, you know, you live and you learn, and therapy is not just for crazy people. It's, you know what? Therapy is a good thing. And I think that what I came to learn is that there are all kinds of therapy. There's physical therapy for your body, you know, there's mental therapy if you need to talk to someone about a certain subject that you're trying to work through. There's therapy for all kinds of things that I didn't even realize until I actually went myself to help help to deal with just the loss of my girlfriend. So that was really interesting, just learning about all the different, you know, ways that you can go and you can get help and you can talk about these things, and they help make you better. So for me, I went, and one of the best things I ever done, it definitely helped me to heal with that tragic loss. And, you know, I definitely still to this day absolutely think on my girlfriend. She's definitely my angel. I will always love her. But I thank God for the healing, because now I can, you know, move on and look forward to the future, and the future of the Queen TV show, and just the future of just great things to come. So I'm just really thankful for that. But sometimes, you know, it is good to reflect on your past, some things that, you know, you've been through, you've worked hard to overcome. And for me, one of the things that I have had to really work hard to get past is an incident that I had happen to me after I lost my best friend. So of course, I had went to therapy and such, and that was great and good. And there was a time where I had to request for my medical records to be mailed to my home from the particular place that I was going to, you know. And I don't want to say this particular hospital's name, because I'm not trying to like necessarily throw this particular hospital under the bus. That's not what I want to do by this, you know, sharing this with my friends. But I really do want to just share this experience that I had, and I really would love to get feedback from, you know, people watching the show, to just really tell me how you feel, how maybe you would have you responded or what you think about the situation. So I requested my medical records, and when my medical records began to come to my home in the mail, I noticed that the envelopes that had my medical records were open. And this is actually one of them. This is an actual envelope that had one of the records in there. And basically, they looked like this. They were pretty much open, and they were not sealed at all. And, the first time it came, of course, it was strange, and I just thought, okay, this is really strange, but it began to happen over and over and over again, meaning it happened 2, 3, 4 times, and this was all in a matter of a couple months, that as my records began to come to my home, I noticed that they were all open. So I took it upon myself to go up to my local post office, and I went up there, showed them what was happening, showed them my mail. They looked at it and examined every envelope that I had. Granted, it was maybe, 5, 6, 7 envelopes, different envelopes. And they stamped the envelope. I don't know if you can see it, but they stamped the envelope. It's like a red stamp here that they put, and it says received unsealed, meaning the envelope was mailed to my home. They verified that it was unsealed. It was not closed. And so they wrote me a letter stating, that I had been up there and had complained to them, and they verified that the mail wasn't sealed. So then I called a complaint line, which this particular hospital has this complaint line. They said you call, you leave a complaint, and let them know what's going on. So I did that. And they called me back, and they basically began to say that they felt like this was like an isolated situation, and pretty much that they didn't want to meet with me. Must I say, I did request to have someone sit down and meet with me. And the reason for that is because I wanted to show them my mail. I wanted to literally put the mail that I was receiving in my house open in their hands so they could actually look at it, see it for themselves, and see what I was experiencing. And I just felt like me telling you over the phone, you can't actually see it, right? You can't see what's happening. So that's why I felt it was important that they would sit, have a meeting with me, sit down with me. And I really thought that they would actually, do this, being that I had this situation happening. I thought it was that big of a situation where, you would think that they would want to sit down with me. So it really surprised me when I got the response that they did not want to sit down with me and meet with me, and I couldn't get anyone to meet with me. But what they did was they wrote me back a letter, stating that they pretty much felt like this wasn't really happening and it was an isolated situation. And, and I don't want to read the letter entirely what that they wrote, but it was really confusing that they would pretty much kind of state what they were stating, their perspective. It was really hard to understand, being that they didn't want to meet with me, and it's like almost like they just wanted to brush this problem away. So I want to share more with you about this situation, and I want to get your perspective and your take on it when we come back from break. So make sure you stay tuned. Thank you for tuning in to the Queen TV show here in the castle in the beautiful Queen City, Charlotte, North Carolina. The Queen TV show is on once a week, every Wednesday night from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Make sure you tune in. We have a lot of great shows to come. Have a great, blessed week. Welcome back to the Queen Amani TV show. Thank you for staying tuned, and I hope that you are enjoying the show today. Today I have been talking about something that is more of a personal story, something that I have been really working hard to just really overcome. it's something that I definitely feel like I don't have much control over. I definitely don't have any control over it. So let's just say that. But it's definitely something that has bothered me over just ever since it happened. Let's just say over time. And so I kind of wanted to get your take on maybe your perspective and how you feel on this certain situation. So I began to share that before we went to break, that I had some mail come to my home. It was my medical records that I had requested. And when I say medical records, I mean it had pretty much all my information in there. I don't know if you've ever gotten like a medical record mailed to your house or from your doctor's office or something, and usually it has your name, your social security number, your your just whatever description of what you're being seen for, a lot of personal detail information. Which brings me to, this is why I feel like a lot of doctors' offices and hospitals, and I think even dentist offices, I think anywhere you go for care, they have different policies like HIPAA policies and such, which I always thought protected, a person's privacy, down to matters like if your mail is sent to your house and it's open, and that's pretty much what I dealt with. And I was explaining that before we went to commercial break, that I had my medical records mailed to my home, like on maybe 7 or 8 different occasions where my mail was opened. It wasn't sealed. And it had all of my records in there, like pretty much anyone could just take my mail and open the mail and read anything that was inside of the envelope because it was open. And so this was a really concerning matter to me because it was a lot of sensitive information that was in my mail, a lot of personal, private information that I would never want to be open, basically. And so I filed a complaint this is a very large hospital here in the city of Charlotte, my city that I'm born and raised in. And I was really taken back when no one wanted to meet with me concerning this situation. I really felt that was really strange, really awkward that, here you have someone who has put their care in your hands, and they're having an ongoing situation where, that's not really small, a situation where they have evidence that their mail is being opened to their home on several occasions, and they're requesting to meet with someone to go over this situation, and no one wants to meet with them. I don't know why the hospital would not take that as a big deal. I was really, really shocked just the way that they handled this. Now, of course, they definitely mailed me a letter, but it's basically like they were trying to almost kind of say that this wasn't happening like this. I mean, of course, they worded it in different ways, and I don't want to just read the letter that they, sent me, but it was just a really strange letter because they did say it was like an isolated situation, but, if someone's mail is being sent to their home, over 3 different times and all their mail is open, I think that's a little bit more than just an isolated situation. It's almost like it's intentionally happening, especially when none of the other mail is open and it's only the mail that's coming from this same place. It just really seems odd. And so, I have kind of struggled with this because I've always felt like, gee, should I have done more with this situation? Should I have brought more attention to this situation? I felt as though I did what I could to try to get them to really look more into this matter. But I kind of felt like they were just trying to shut me down, and they just didn't really want to hear me, and they didn't want to hear this complaint, because I called many, many times on their complaint line, and requested to meet with someone several times. I emailed them. I even emailed them pictures of the envelopes because they didn't want to meet with me. So I'm like, you should see this. This is a big deal. You need to see what's actually happening to me before you jump to a conclusion. So, I did that, and I just feel like I did so much to try to bring awareness to this situation to them, so they could understand that, hey, this is bothering me. This is strange. This is weird, and this is really making me feel some type of way, and the fact that I put my care in your hands, and not only my care, but, I have other family members and friends that go to this same hospital, for care. As a matter of fact, what kind of brought this up for me again, and why I think I started even thinking about it, is because, our son, he plays a lot of sports, and we're so thankful and blessed because he's really athletic, and he recently had pulled a muscle, and it was causing him some pain. So we immediately took him to get it checked, and the place that we had to go was actually this particular place that I had this complaint with. So, I began to think, I would never want, my child's records to, be mailed to our house, and they're open, where other people can see this information, because it's personal, right? And so I just began to think about it. Have you ever had things that, you just, maybe they happened to you in the past, but there are times where you just find yourself rethinking about it and, wondering about whatever that situation is. So for me, it was just that I began to, think about it and just think, did I do enough? Did I actually do enough to try to resolve this? And I want to know today, what do you think? Do you think that I did enough to try to resolve this? Is the first question I want to ask. The second question is, how would you handle this situation if your mail is being sent to your house and it's very sensitive private information, like i.e. your medical records, and you notice that it's not only happened once, whereas of course it's an accident, but it's happening on a continual, consistent basis? How would you feel, and what would be your ways of handling it? I would love to get some feedback on this, just because I definitely do think of this at times, and it's something that I have really worked hard on putting it, just not thinking about it. Let's just say that. I really try not to think about it, because I feel like there is nothing that I could do to resolve it. And it's one of those situations that made me feel like, wow, little old me, I tried to get this particular, hospital to listen to me, to listen to my complaint. But I really definitely felt like at the end of the day, little old me, they hear me, but they don't hear me. And, and for me, I think that with sharing this with you all, my friends here at the Queen TV show, I understand now that there are things put in place like, HIPAA laws and such, but because this situation happened to me, I'm sure it's happened to maybe other people before, or maybe something similar. And I just would like to see that, organizations, especially healthcare organizations, do a better job at, protecting people's privacy like they say that they do. A complaint like this is not just something so simple. It's a huge complaint. When any patient of yours would complain of something such, and I really feel like it's a big enough complaint to meet with that person, to sit down and really see what they have, especially if they're saying they have evidence, right? To see what they have and really meet with them face to face. I think it was a big deal, and to this day, I've wondered why wasn't a bigger deal for them, being that they say they take privacy matters, serious, but it definitely made me feel like they didn't. And, and it's just something that it does bother me to this day, because it was such sensitive personal information. It's something that in a world that we live in, there's so many people that take people's identities, and you hear about all that kind of crazy stuff, and things that people actually go through from people getting their personal information. Of course I should feel like that this is serious because my my mail was open. And so that's why I wanted to share this. It was just something that was really on my heart. And I have to mention that they told me that I should file a police report, right? And I did. I totally, like, as soon as when this was happening, I filed a police report and stated that my mail was coming from this particular hospital and it was open and it kept happening. And I did that, and I have the report. And I recall the police saying, well, you should get a P.O. box, which I did. I got a P.O. box. But, when I think back on it, I'm like, it's not even just about me. No one should be forced to have to get a P.O. box because their mail is being mailed to their house open. Like, no one should have to, experience that. I mean, of course, that's what they told me. I got a P.O. box, but I really, I appreciate them trying to help me and everything, but I just don't feel as though that was just it. I just want to bring this to attention because I just want it to be more something that they think about. They think about privacy situations a little bit more, things that happen to everyday people as myself. That they think about this, and they think about, the way that they handle it. I just really feel as though my situation didn't get handled the best way. What I would have liked to seen is that they showed me more care, that they actually care. How you can go places and people can tell you, oh, we care about you, but they don't show you that. That's what I wanted to see. Like, I really felt as though, okay, this is your time as a large organization, a very large hospital, to show a person that, you actually care about the situation. And, and I felt as though someone meeting with me, I really at that point didn't really care who met with me, as long as it was some kind of representative, to just really sit down and, look at what I was saying, opposed to just trying to, like, brush me off and make it seem like, this is, not really a big situation. It's a big situation, and it was for me. It still bothers me to this day, and it's a big situation for anyone that deals with something like this, because I just feel like hospitals make so much money off of patients, people, like, period. And when you have one complaint, and you feel as though they want to brush you to the side, it's just not a good feeling. It doesn't feel good. And so I just want to know that they are really, they are serious about caring for people. And when things happen that are not, they're not right, that they care to meet with you, to hear you, and that they try their best to really resolve that situation. So I just want to thank you for listening, and please make sure you send me some feedback. You can reach us at the Queen TV Show through Facebook, our Facebook page, our Instagram page. The information will be at the end of this show where you can reach us, and definitely make sure you send us some feedback. I really would like to know your perspective on this situation. If your mail was sent to your home and it was open, how would you feel, and what measures would you take to resolve it? I hope you have a great, blessed week, and thank you for tuning in.